Hey, welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're going to talk a little bit more about agility, and we're going to do it in terms of moving. And this is part of the homestead series, but what I want to get at here is the idea of moving. When you're moving, if you're extremely rich and you're extremely good at handling all the little fiddly bits of the paperwork, and you have a 5-year plan, and you can maintain your 5-year plan, and you can spend a decade getting onto property. And I don't think we have a decade, societally speaking, right now. I don't think we do. But if you can do that, you can ignore everything I'm about to say because you don't need to. You don't need it. You're just going to end up with, multiple houses, and you live in one, and you slowly, over the course of a decade, get that one to where you want it, and then sell the old one, and whatever, right? Not me. Not how I work. And it's not how most people work, okay? I don't think most people are willing to dedicate every bit of their enjoyment and free time and life and living rate and everything that is life to making this process happen. There's a lot of people who are programmed that way. You can't just take off. You have to be attached to the order, the process, the forms. And societally speaking, I think we need to be a little more agile. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about vehicles right now and attachment. So when it comes to attachment to stuff, if you're going to go off on a homestead adventure, you need to reduce the amount of stuff to the point where it's almost like you're moving onto a boat, okay? You need to get rid of 90% of your stuff, and then you need to look at what's left. You probably need to get rid of half of that, maybe 2/3, okay? I used to remember back in the 80s, into the early 90s, people used to take off for month-long adventures, for travel, cross-country motorcycle trips, and you could do it with a backpack and 2 saddlebags. And now, I watch the bikers doing the bigger trips, and they've got full-dress cruisers. So you've got a trunk, like a huge trunk, okay, 24 by 18 and 14 inches deep, and 2 saddlebags. And the saddlebags are huge. They're hard side cases. And a trailer. A little motorcycle trailer. And this is just normal, This is how you go. I used to watch people go out, families of 6, 8 people with a pop-up tent trailer and a station wagon and, maybe some pup tents, surplus pup tents for various kids who wanted that kind of adventure. And now it's a 5th wheel. It's an absolute maximum edge of legality, 600 square foot living area with slide outs, 5th wheel, and it's only 4 people. And they're crowded. And you're like, well, what changed? What changed? We've definitely come up. The boomer generation got mature and got fully featured, but then they also, there's kind of a generational thing. They also hit Gen X and Gen Y with more of those memes, mimetic, not joke memes, but more of those programs, and people are very attached to lots and lots of stuff, and it takes ever increasingly more stuff just to have the basic idea of comfort and security. You don't need that. You don't need that, and you need to be able to wean yourself from that. I'm not saying that if you have a 5th wheel you need to sell it, but you need to know what to do if the 5th wheel is not going to work out for you. You need to know what to do if you don't have a 5th wheel. What if it's time to go, and you need to go, and you've got a pickup truck or a Subaru station wagon, There's a couple preparation things that I would seriously suggest, like everyone should have a trailer hitch set up just for a small, very, very small trailer. It helps us so much. I mean just a cargo trailer. I mean literally a 3-foot by 5-foot bed trailer, one of those little lightweight ones like Harbor Freight style. That it's an immense help. It's an immense difference. But what happens if you're homesteading? Okay, so let's go through the homestead wilderness. Nothing is built route to look at attachment a little bit. You might have to spend a few weeks living in a car or a truck. In this particular truck here that I'm in, I have a mattress and a whole bunch of storage in the back under a camper shell. It's not an actual camper. Campers have a really good set of advantages for living, and you can drop them on the property, and it's kind of cool that way, and I really like that. This is just a different answer and a lot more about cargo capacity, because I have more storage with the camper shell and a mattress than I actually do in the lightweight camper that we were using last year. So kind of an odd thing. Same size bed in the end, so what difference does it make? You know, I don't have the indoor table and chair. That's about it. Well, what about a shower? That's always one of the big things when people come to attachment, is like, how do you get comfortable? What can you do? You know, you can work on a tailgate. And in fact, with a truck like this, being that it's a tailgate, and if I was going to go back to hand-powered crafting of some sort, say jewelry making or knife making, I could do it on a tailgate with no problem. You've got a nice sturdy metal surface. You can pop a jack stand under the truck so nothing bounces on the shocks. You can beat on it. It's very heat adaptable because it's a metal tailgate. You can really, really work pretty good. You know, it's a good sturdy platform, but you can also bring out a folding table. There's all sorts of ways to do this. I used to do Ren fairs, and there was one of the senior couples of the Greenbrier outfit. So that was the commune name, I think, was Greenbrier, out of Texas. They had one of those old little Toyota motorhomes, the ones that are based on the little Toyota pickups from the 80s. And, you know, you get like 18 miles to the gallon in an RV, which is ridiculous. But there's no space inside, you know. And these are little tiny skinny people, hippie people anyway, so they're okay in there. It's not, I can't sleep in those things very well. But all of their work, like all of their crafting for doing Ren fairs and jewelry shows and everything, was done with a fold down table that was on the back of the RV. It was basically, it was like a card table with a metal top, but they'd rigged it so that it had hinge points, so it just folded down. You adjust the feet on the ground, it's still attached to the RV, and they would put the torches and the fire bricks and everything there and start working. Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. You know, and I know that they didn't actually, they used the toilet when they had to, but they never showered or tried to do any of the wet bathroom stuff in the RV. It was mostly set up as storage. And the reason for that is because here's part of the attachment thing. We're going to get into showers, and it seems like a very weird topic, but let's walk through it a little bit, okay? This is an area of discomfort for people, bathrooms and showers. There are showers everywhere, okay? If you're into 3 showers a day, things might look a little weirder, but everywhere you go, you know, if you have to do the car camping thing, truck camping thing for a couple of weeks during your homestead adventure, everywhere you go, there's going to be showers. First, there's gyms. You know, I'm not going to say that I would get a gym membership just to take showers, but if I was doing full-time urban car living, yeah, I would. There's campgrounds. No matter what you do, you're going to stay at campgrounds periodically, and there's always the national and state parks. They tend to have their own campgrounds too, not just RV park type campgrounds. And they all have showers. And truck stops have showers. In fact, this is what over-the-road, OTR, long-haul truckers do every day or every other day. Or it depends on your hygienic impulses and your programming. They take showers in truck stops. And they provide you like towels and a clean space and locking doors, and it's a couple dollars, and it's a really cool thing. You can use that. There's no thing where you have to have a special ID card that says I'm a trucker, you know. Lots of road people use the truck stops. Truck stops are amazing. They also tend to be safe places to sleep if you don't have anything hooked up late around you. Again, we're talking about, you know, homestead stuff. But it gets into what if you're going to spend a couple of weeks exploring while stuff is going on. in your homestead adventure. Attachment. Attachment to the bathroom is one of the big ones. So think about this. They're everywhere. Okay, showers are everywhere. Bathrooms are everywhere. I'm a guy, and I've been out in the wilderness a lot, and I don't have a problem. If I have a sudden need because of road food or something, I can dig a cat hole. I know how to poop in the woods or the desert. I have no problems, but generally speaking, it's not quite as easy with girls or children, so having one of the little porta potties is actually really useful. They work very well. A lot of the modern ones, they have a cassette. They work just fine. And, there's the disposable bag ones that you can just bag and toss, and that's okay, too. Not my preference, but they work. So, you might want to carry one of those. But bathrooms and showers are everywhere. They're common. Even with the lockdown era, even at the absolute worst of the lockdowns, there were places, there were some campgrounds, there were some things. Getting a shower wasn't difficult when we were traveling, because we spent a lot of last year during the lockdowns just driving around, okay? The best thing to do is get out and exercise, be in the sunlight. It was fantastic. There's always a shower, okay? They're always there. Bathrooms were a little difficult periodically, but there's always a bathroom. Basically, you just have to go to a gas station, a truck stop gas station, a real gas station, instead of relying on something like, Starbucks. You used to be able to rely on Starbucks, and of course, now I don't go to Starbucks ever because their response to the pandemic was so bad and so anti-humane that I'm done with them. It's a full boycott. Okay, I'm getting off topic now. We're talking about attachments and homesteading. What I've got for you there is just the bathroom example is a pretty easy one to think about, to think through. There are a lot of things you don't need to have right away as you're getting ready, as you're being agile, as you're planning the ability to move. Because what if things break down a little bit more and you need to move quickly? You have 2 days. What are you going to do? You going to build a bathroom in your Subaru? No. So relax. Realize that everything else in your life is going to be even easier than the bathroom problem. Stay sideways.